Europa should be frozen in time. It circles Jupiter in perpetual twilight, never far from the pull of a planet so massive it dominates everything around it. The sun is distant here, reduced to a cold, bright point. Warmth does not linger. Light does not stay. Any world this far out should have gone still long ago. But Europa did not. Its surface is ice, water ice, hardened to a strength that rivals stone, is unbroken only at first glance. Look closer, and the moon reveals itself as a lattice of fractures, ridges, and scars that span continents. The ice is cracked not once, but repeatedly, rewritten again and again across deep time. This is not a relic. It is an active world pretending to be quiet. Europa's restlessness begins with Jupiter. Jupiter's gravity is overwhelming, a force that does not merely pull, but sculpts. As Europa orbits, it is stretched and compressed rhythmically, locked in a gravitational dance that never allows equilibrium. The moon is kneaded from the inside out, flexed by kilometers over each orbit, though the motion is slow enough to escape casual notice. That flexing generates heat. Not the kind of heat that melts landscapes or fuels volcanoes, but a deeper, subtler warmth, just enough to keep water liquid beneath the ice. Just enough to prevent stillness from winning. Just enough to sustain motion in a place where motion should not exist. Beneath Europa's ice shell lies a global ocean. Not a sea, not a lake, an ocean that wraps entirely around the moon. It is dark, pressurized, and vast. Its water is likely salty, conductive, and in contact with a rocky mantle below. Heat from tidal flexing rises slowly through this ocean, circulating currents that have persisted for millions, perhaps billions of years. Above that ocean, the ice must endure the consequences. Europa's ice shell is not a single, uniform slab. It may be layered, cold and brittle near the surface, warmer and more pliable at depth. Stress introduced at the surface does not vanish. It migrates downward, accumulating where the ice resists change. Eventually, resistance fails. An ice quake begins. The rupture may start deep within the shell or near the surface, propagating outward along planes of weakness forged by earlier stress. The ice cracks suddenly, releasing energy stored across centuries. Vibrations race through frozen layers, refract at boundaries, and dissipate into the moon's interior. No sound escapes into space, but Europa feels it. These quakes are not rare anomalies. They are inevitable, a consequence of Europa's orbit. Attacks imposed by gravity. Each orbit adds strain. Each cycle brings the ice closer to failure. Over time, failure becomes routine. Europa does not shatter. It yields. The surface records these moments in patterns that defy simple explanation. Long lineae stretch across the moon, sometimes parallel, sometimes intersecting at sharp angles. Some appear darker, stained by material that may have risen from below. Others are bright, edged with ridges that suggest repeated opening and closing over time. These fractures are not accidents. They are structural responses. Some may widen during quakes, briefly exposing warmer ice or liquid water before freezing shut again. Others may remain weak points, reopening whenever tidal stress peaks. Over thousands of cycles, these zones grow complex, layered with the history of stress and release. In certain regions, the ice seems to have failed entirely. Chaos terrain spreads across Europa's surface like frozen wreckage. Blocks of ice appear rotated, tilted, embedded in a matrix that looks partially melted and refrozen. These regions defy the orderly cracking seen elsewhere. They suggest moments when the shell lost coherence, when ice became mobile. Ice quakes may be the catalyst. A sufficiently deep rupture could allow warm ice or water to rise, weakening the surrounding shell. The surface collapses, rearranges, then freezes again. The result is chaos frozen mid-motion, a reminder that Europa's surface is not guaranteed stability. This instability is not destruction, is opportunity. Every quake reshapes the interface between ice and ocean. Every fracture is a potential conduit, brief, rare, but meaningful. Material altered by Jupiter's radiation on the surface may be dragged downward. Chemicals from the ocean may be forced upward, nearer to the light. Europa's ice quakes may be the mechanism by which its ocean remains chemically alive. On Earth, life flourishes where boundaries exist, where plates grind, where vents release heat, where gradients persist. Europa lacks plate tectonics as we know them, but its ice shell may play a similar role. Stress replaces subduction. Fracture replaces fault. Ice replaces rock. The principles remain. Energy flows. Chemistry mixes. Complexity is sustained. And yet, we have never listened directly. All our knowledge of Europa's quakes comes from absence, from what should be there but isn't, from craters that failed to accumulate, from surfaces too young for their age, from magnetic signatures that betray a moving, conductive ocean beneath. Europa speaks through omission. NASA's Europa Clipper mission is designed to hear more clearly, not with ears, but with instruments sensitive enough to detect the consequences of motion. Repeated flybys will map the Moon's gravity field, searching for distortions caused by shifting ice and subsurface water. Radar will probe the shell, revealing layers, pockets, and buried fractures. Cameras will track surface changes over time. Each pass is a question. Each data set is a partial answer. But even Europa Clipper will remain an observer, not a listener. To hear an ice quake directly would require a lander, a machine capable of surviving radiation, cold, isolation, and time. It would need to operate autonomously, waiting without knowing whether a quake would occur tomorrow or decades from now. Listening on Europa is an act of patience. A seismometer placed on the ice might hear nothing for months. Then, without warning, the ground would shift. Vibrations would ripple through the shell, carrying information from depths no camera could reach. From those vibrations, we could learn the thickness of the ice, the presence of liquid layers, the depth of the ocean, the structure of the Moon itself. Each quake would be a map drawn in motion. But even without direct listening, Europa's message is already clear. This Moon is not frozen in the way we once imagined, is not a static relic orbiting a gas giant. It is a system driven by gravity, sustained by energy, reshaped by stress, is dynamic, and Europa is not unique. Other icy moons show signs of similar unrest. Enceladus vents water into space. Ganymede hides an ocean beneath ice and rock. Titan hosts seas of hydrocarbons and complex chemistry. The outer solar system is not a cemetery of failed worlds. It is a gallery of hidden oceans. Europa's ice quakes force us to reconsider where life might exist and how it might endure. They suggest that warmth is not the only currency of habitability. That sunlight is not the only energy source. That worlds can be alive beneath surfaces that appear dead. Europa does not advertise its ocean. It conceals it. And in doing so, it teaches us humility. We are drawn to spectacle, to fire, eruption, brightness. Europa offers none of these. It offers cracks, subtle shifts, slow change. It asks us to pay attention to what moves quietly. Ice quakes are not dramatic on a human scale. No towers fall, no mountains split open. But on Europa's scale, they are transformative, reshaping pathways, redistributing chemistry, renewing the surface over and over again. They are the heartbeat of a frozen world. Europa quakes because it cannot do otherwise, because gravity never rests, because ice cannot absorb infinite stress, because oceans demand exchange. And somewhere beneath that ice, beneath kilometers of pressure and darkness, water circulates endlessly, warmed by tides, enriched by rock, carrying molecules that have never seen light. That ocean does not know we exist. Europa does not quake for us, but in its fractures it leaves clues, quiet, patient, enduring, that the universe is far more active and far more subtle than we once believed. The lesson of Europa's ice quakes is not urgency. It is endurance. The cosmos does not rush. It does not explain itself. It waits. And if we are willing to wait with it long enough to listen, we may discover that even the coldest worlds are still speaking, their stories carried not by flame or sound, but by stress, motion, and the slow, inevitable cracking of ice.